Hey guys, it's going to be your Sunday video report, and I'll tell you what, even Santa delivers a lump of coal every now and then because Saturday, as I do this video report at about 10:45 Eastern Time, it looks like I'm going to go 0-3 with my complimentary plays on Saturday, which would be my worst performance, well, over the past 11 weeks, because as you know, I entered Saturday in the NFL over the previous 10 weeks, 38, 16, and 1 with my freebies. And of course, I gave you the Bills. And unless they have a big fourth quarter against the Chargers, they ain't getting the job done. And of course, earlier in the day, I was a little leery of the Bengals, and yeah, should have listened to my spidey sense there and gone with Pittsburgh, but that's how the cookie crumbles. And of course, in college bowls, I told you my best play, I thought, complimentary wise, on Saturday was Utah State, and they only gave up like 600 and some yards and couldn't stop a Georgia State team that had lost 5 straight games coming into the famous Idaho Potato Bowl and lost that one with ease. So we'll try and reboot here for Sunday now on an alleged 38 and 18 NFL free pick roll over the past 10 weeks going into your Sunday selections. Just a quick word about the college bowls. And I mentioned this in the comment section on Saturday when a regular follower asked me what I thought about the college bowls. And let me just tell you something. It's an absolute farce. In years past, the only things we had to worry about as gamblers and as handicappers is coaches leaving, abandoning their programs, players getting suspended for breaking curfew or academic reasons, or in recent years, players skipping the bowls to prepare for the NFL draft. But the transfer portal has changed everything the past 2 years. Now you see wholesale substitutions. I mean, teams just losing 5, 10, 15 players. Now, granted, many of those players are fringe players, right? But the NIL money has changed the whole dynamic of the postseason. And let's face it, these bowl games are all made for TV games anyway, mainly for ESPN purposes anyhow, right? But when you see 5, 6 starters for a team, significant players suddenly giving up on their team, don't fall for the coach speak. And the coach speak is, well, hey, we're going to play the players that we have, and it gives them 15 good practices to prepare for next year. You don't know what you're going to get when these teams hit the field. That's the bottom line. Now, there are some soft spots. South Florida beat the hell out of Syracuse because you knew Syracuse was going to either play a third-string quarterback or run the option with a guy who was a tight end. And Syracuse got their ass kicked the other night, right? But then you have the games that you just can't forecast. Everybody and their brother was on Utah State yesterday, including me as a complimentary play. And the Aggies, they got their ass kicked. It's just so tough to tell. And I don't blame the players. Listen, I'll give you Jaden Daniels. There's absolutely no reason for Jaden Daniels to play for LSU because his team isn't playing for a championship. Why does he want to get hurt? Get the hell out of there. Take your money. You already got it and prepare for the NFL draft. I get it. And for the other players that have lucrative NIL deals available to them by transferring, take the money. It's your right. You've been screwed for too long. But because you have National Signing Day and the transfer portal all combining here in the middle of December, these games are moot. And even when they expand the college football playoff field next year, it's not going to help anything. You're still going to have even more games. It's going to get to the point where only the final 4 games are going to mean anything. And even then, you're still going to have a number of backups that are going to abandon their teams, because money and transfer portal, or maybe I get to play for a national championship, even though I'm a second stringer. Come on, let's be serious. Put yourself in their shoes if you're 18 to 22 years old. Therein lies the problem. Okay, let's get to your complimentary plays here today. It is not necessarily a strong card. Let's run it in reverse chronological order. The Denver Broncos got their ass kicked last week, and I'm not surprised because Detroit was a team that had been playing really mediocre ball coming off its bye, and the Lions finally put it together. And the Broncos are playing their third straight game on the road, but now they're back at home. Their playoff possibilities are dwindling. They're in a must-win situation. I still don't think the Broncos are that good, but listen, I know one thing. The Patriots are definitely not any good. So I am more than willing to lay the 7 points with Denver. I'm kind of surprised Denver is only 7. And actually now looking, I do see here on Saturday night, the Broncos are now 7.5 as public money has rolled into them. So naturally, I'm buying down the half point. It doesn't matter whether they're 7.5 or 7, coming off that 42-17 loss at Detroit, a game in which they were outgained 448 to 287. First down wise, 29 to 20. Jared Goff, 5 touchdowns. Listen, it doesn't matter who quarterbacks the Patriots. They're going to get 5 touchdown passes in 5 games. And remember, the Broncos had won 4 straight games at home before embarking on that road trip. And they only allowed 58 points in that 4-game winning streak at home. You got a Patriots team that's lost 6 out of 7. Yeah, I'm going to go with Denver in that spot. Best game on the board, potentially, Miami and Dallas. Now, I told you to go against the Cowboys last week because I thought they were in a prime letdown situation coming off that revenge-fueled payback game at home against Philadelphia, and you saw how the Cowboys laid the egg in Buffalo. The Bills just absolutely demolished them. Now, on a positive side, the Cowboys are 12-1 against the spread straight up after their last 13 losses. On the negative side, this is a Cowboys team that is 3-4 straight up on the road this season. And then you look at Dak Prescott's splits this season, and forget about that MVP talk with Dak, okay? At home, 74% completions, a passer rating of 122.5, 20 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. On the road, a completion percentage of 63.2, a passer rating of 84.2. That's about 38 points less, and 8 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Miami, listen, yes, they sucked a couple of weeks ago, getting upset. And boy, I still have nightmares about that game when they gave up the 14 points in the final 3 minutes to Tennessee to lose that game outright when I had them. But I like Miami here because they have a lot of the things that Buffalo or the Cowboys couldn't handle against Buffalo. They have speed on offense. They can run the ball effectively. They have a fast, aggressive defense, and the Cowboys' defense is not that good. So I think a betting public, and I think a lot of handicappers are going to be on the Cowboys, but I would just rather take my shot with Miami here. That pass rush for the Cowboys is going to be neutralized by a strong offensive line by Miami, and Tua's exceptionally fast ability to get rid of that ball with his release. Detroit and Minnesota. Here's a Lions team that had seemingly fallen apart defensively, coming off that bye, which began with that 41-38 win at against the Chargers. Their defense had allowed 38, 26, 29, 28, and 28 points in their 5 previous games before shutting down the Broncos last week. Now, however, they go to Minnesota. And this is a team series that Minnesota's absolutely dominated, winning 8 of the last 10 straight up, including 5 in a row at home. Interesting little side note here, and this is the thing about numbers. You twist it one way, I can twist it another, right? The home team has won 4 in a row straight up in the series, and yet the Lions have covered the last 4 games in the series. So you tell me, which number would you rather believe? It's like being a crooked accountant. Minnesota has certainly not played well with the number of quarterbacks. How did they blow that game at Cincinnati last Saturday? A game in which I had the Bengals laying the 2.5 because I bought down the half point and they win it by 3 in overtime. Nick Mullins, 26 for 33, 303 yards, 2 costly interceptions. That has been Minnesota's MO all season, giving up the costly turnovers. I think the key in this game for Minnesota, defensive coordinator Brian Flores has an aggressive, pressure-oriented defense. Is Jared Goff going to have time in the pocket? Last week he certainly did, and he had the 5 touchdown passes. This is the same guy who the week earlier, when the Chicago Bears came after him, sacked him 4 times. He was 20 for 35, 161 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions, and that loss to Chicago. I still like Detroit, however, in this spot, minus the 3, and I'm buying down the half point in this situation. The Cleveland Browns and the ageless wonder, Joe Flacco, a 3-point favorite at Houston. I know Houston's played well defensively, but it's not like the Browns are chopped liver, and Houston's going to be without C.J. Stroud again. I got to lay the points with Cleveland. What can I tell you? I mean, you know, until Joe Flacco has a total collapse, why the hell not? I have nothing more to say about that game. So if I had to rate these 4 selections, I would put Denver as my number 1 choice today. Okay, Denver being number 1. I would put, believe it or not, Cleveland number 2 because I just can't go against the Browns right now. All the injuries, all the issues at quarterback, they just keep winning. Number 3, oh boy, this is going to be the tough one. It comes down to whether I like Detroit or Miami. And I'll tell you what, I've got to go with Detroit because I think that Miami-Dallas game is going to be one that is going to be fascinating to watch, but maybe not the bet. So the Dolphins would be number 4. So again, ranking them, I'm going to go with Denver. Next is going to be Cleveland, followed by Detroit, and then Miami. In terms of some of the other games here, just quickly running through the rest of your Sunday card, of course, Green Bay and Carolina is going to be my best bet for today's card. Seattle and Tennessee, I really don't know which way to go there. I'm not sure if the Seahawks won on Monday night or the Eagles actually lost that game on Monday night. And I have to say I've been impressed with the way Tennessee's defense has played here lately, but I don't like the game at all. Washington and the New York Jets, Jesus, why would you watch this game? Why would you bet that game? That is officially the Who Cares game of the week as far as I'm concerned. I see that Jacksonville, losers of 3 straight, Trevor Lawrence has been cleared from concussion protocol. Is Baker Mayfield for real? Are the Bucks for real? I have a hard time betting against them right now because this Jacksonville team, everybody's been waiting for Jacksonville to play as well as they did last year. But clearly the Jaguars are not as good as they were last year, especially their defense. So I'll tell you what, I kind of like the Buccaneers in this spot. Arizona and Chicago, if not for the Jets game, this would be the Who Cares game of the week because why the hell would you care who is playing in this game? There you go. That's the rest of your card. Guys, again, happy holidays to you. If you're celebrating Christmas, Merry Christmas to you as well. Enjoy the day. I will say the same thing that I say to you at Thanksgiving as well for today and tomorrow. If betting these games is going to interrupt your holiday, if it's going to ruin the occasion, celebrating with your family and friends, take the damn day off. There's plenty of football left in the next couple of weeks to keep your amusement factor high. Take it off. Celebrate it. Don't even watch the damn games. That'll do it. Good luck, everybody, and talk to you again tomorrow. Take it easy.